All right, guys. We got lean conditions here, so I changed the engine on this. So what happened here was I went around the block, came back, check engine light, lean code, reset it, went around the block, came back, check engine, it came on right lean. So what I did was I sprayed with the engine running, sprayed right here. I sprayed around here so that you could hear the engine pick up. Okay, so I sprayed some starter fluid. So as I did that, so I know there's a large vacuum leak. Plus, when we bought this engine, they lifted this engine from right here. So that's another thing. So I'm going to change the intake gasket. I am going to put his old intake back. And let's see how that job goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove these pipes. We're going to drain the coolant. And we're going to disconnect the battery. Because I'm probably going to be doing the engine starter change over there. And we're going to replace the water pump. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect this battery. So we're gonna just take out this negative and positive. It can stay there. Once this is out, pretty much there's no power. The whole circuit is dead. Come on, little guy. How much more I need to open? So there you go. So we could go down there and change the starter. So here's our drainer right here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drain the antifreeze right into this bucket, and then we'll start working on it, and we'll remove the intake and the pipes and the water pump down here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take everything off here. So everything gotta come off. I'm gonna go get 10mm for this. We're gonna take this baby off, and we'll get to this pipe, and we'll take off the intake. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a few things off. We're probably gonna take out the battery. Yep, we're gonna take out the battery completely. This can stay here. Let's take off this pipe. Should be loose enough. So we're gonna be taking off the intake to change the gasket at the same time. We can work, as with this pipe comes off, we can work on the fan. So two things can knock out with the one job. Anyways, let's take off this clamp. Let's pull this pipe off. These are the new pipes from the new engine. They're softer. Usually they will get hard and they will crack, but there you go. This guy's off. So we do need to get back there. So we're gonna have to take off everything on this little guy. So let's take this guy off. This stays here. This little guy went down. There you go. I feel right back down. Okay, I'll get to it. We're gonna take off this side of the terminal. Okay, so we're gonna take out this battery complete, so we got room to get to the bolts on the throttle. So this baby will come off. All right, so this is out. Well, it's not out yet. We're gonna take out this battery. Put it on the floor. Okay, that stays there. Stays there. We're gonna take off this little guy, because remember, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. So all this just comes off and stays together. Number 10mm right there. Okay, I'm gonna take off this intake because this pipe's there for the throttle. I want to get to that as well. So this comes off. Very important connector. Make sure you put this back in. Take out this little guy from right here. I'm gonna push these tabs in, and this guy should. Can you put your hand on that side? It's moving. The whole thing's moving. Okay, I disconnected the clamp, so No, just hold on to this. I took out these, so that's why it's moving. I should have done that later. There you go. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, okay, we got this pipes back here. So what I'm gonna do here is, I am gonna leave this guy alone right up here. It's not gonna bother me. I'm gonna leave this alone. Okay, now we got 10 millimeters inside. We're gonna take them off. So 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and there's 3 of them in there. So over here. And you can see it coming out from this side. This whole thing will come out. It's not too hard of a job, but that stays there. But there's pipes here for the throttle, so we had to get to those pipes. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect this. We're gonna loosen this bolt up, and this should come off. And the throttle does have a TPMS sensor in the bottom. There's a connector here for TPMS throttle position sensor. Not a TPMS. If I could get that, I could get that connector off just like this one. And then you got this little guy right there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, this is good. Okay, we can get to that once we get this pipe off. Okay, so antifreeze hasn't went down. We should be able to get this pipe off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna squeeze this clamp, get this pipe off, and then we got 2 10 millimeters. We could just push this whole pipe that way. You do not have to take it off from this side. Okay, so right down here, right here, in here. This is the clamp we're gonna take off. So we're gonna have to use a needle nose, some type of needle nose plier to get this baby off. You can always squeeze it and turn it, twist it, bring it towards you, and after a while it should just come off. And then I like to switch pliers because the needle nose doesn't work well. Okay. This is a stupid clamp. I'm gonna stop right in the middle. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is instead of that, I'm gonna take off the 2 bolts back here. I'm gonna use this swivel, and I'm gonna squeeze the clamp and just get everything out of there in one shot. There you go, I'm on it. And not on it. Really tough spot. Okay, snooze. There you go, 10 millimeter. Put it to the side. There's 2 of them, one on the side. There you go. Alright, got 2 of them out. We're back to this side again, and what I'm gonna do is, this is loose now. I'm gonna squeeze the clamp and I'm gonna pull out the pipe of this radiator. Sometimes you gotta just squeeze and work your way out. And turn. Remember, I drained the antifreeze on this baby. If you don't drain it, it's gonna be all over. We're gonna pull out this pipe right here. This pipe comes off, and that's all gonna come out with the fan. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just twist this guy, and I'm gonna just let it sit right here. It's not gonna bother me. Okay, so I'll put the pipe here. This is good. So we can get this out really easy, the fan, but really refocused on the throttle body here. So I'm gonna go get more tools. I'm gonna remove this, and it's still draining down there, but the system should be empty. There's 2 pipes over here that goes to the throttle body here. We're gonna take those out as well, and then we're gonna inspect everything. Maybe this throttle, this intake is cracked. I don't know, because they hooked it up with the people who sold this engine. They hooked it up with the seat belt to lift this. I don't know. It could have been just the gaskets like out of shape. Anyways, we're doing good here. Okay, so we want to take off this throttle cable. We're gonna use a wrench on a wrench, unloosen it, and there you go. It comes off by itself, and it's like a bike cable. You know, the brake cable on the bike. This guy, There you go. And this guy just comes right off, just like that. And throttle cable is out. That's it. Okay, so I want to take out the two connectors, clamps of these throttle lines here. There's one more. There's one more here. The camera's not gonna, it's fine, but you should be able to see it from back here. So they're loose, the clamps are off. I'm gonna push this right back. I'm not gonna take it out yet. Okay, I'm gonna take it off. There's no antifreeze in there. So one pipe, two pipe. Remember, we did this engine, so these are easy to take off. But first time taking it off, you gotta. So the throttle body got a few bolts, 12 millimeters. This is one. And what I want to do is I'm gonna keep the bolt in my hand. Just going down here. Remember, this bracket here is very important. This is how your throttle body cable is connected to. So what we're gonna do here is we do need to push this. To get to that last bolt. Okay, so I'm gonna leave all this stuff here. So we still got one connector on here. Down here, there's a connector for the throttle position sensor. So that's out. So this is pretty much loose. What I want to do here is I am gonna get this throttle body out of here with the pipes, just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. This is out of the way. So this gasket is here and it's feeling good, but we're gonna replace it anyway. We're gonna take out the whole intake. Anyways, what I wanted, this is bothering me, so I'm gonna take off this clamp. I can't see. Where's the clamp? I can't see the clamp. I want this thing out of my way. I want this whole thing out of my way. Okay, it's back here. This is the evap vacuum pipe coming from back there. That's all it is. I'm gonna hold the valve and I'm gonna disconnect this little guy. The harness can stay there. This gets out of my way. Okay, now we should be able to work here pretty easy. Okay, so I want to take off this pipe here. There's one pipe here, very important. This is a vacuum line to your brake. Okay, if you forget that, you're in trouble. Also, to make my job a little bit easy, there's a 10 millimeter connected back here onto the housing, the clamps, that clamps the line to the engine block. Okay, once your intake is out, nothing can fall inside, so beware. And what I want to do now is this pipe got to come off, and this is a very important vacuum line. Your brakes will fail if this is not back on. This guy comes off, so we're looking good. So what we're gonna do here is we got a whole bunch of 12 millimeters all around this. We're gonna take them all off. One, pull out the dipstick. Okay, that's not gonna do it. We're gonna have to do it manually. Okay, so my impact couldn't do it. It's weak, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen this. We're gonna loosen that. We're just gonna break the tightness of it, and we're still gonna go back with the impact. So it stays here. So it's 2 nuts and 3 bolts right in the center. So every time I sprayed here and here, the engine acted up. So lean is vacuum, too much vacuum in the system, too much air, less fuel. So that could have been one of the reasons. Okay, whenever you got a lean coat and the intake comes right off. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna put this aside. Okay, so we cleaned out the housing here. So make sure that's clean. And we're using the old intake because we changed the engine, so we assume maybe it's cracked because they hosted it from the intake. So So this gasket we're gonna change anyway because we're gonna put a new gasket on. We know we had no issue with this gasket prior to changing the engine about the lean code. So it could be a vacuum leak somewhere else, but they're tough to find. But I remember spraying it here and the engine acted crazy. So that's how that comes out. And we got a new Velcro MS96510. And these gaskets are about 30 bucks. So this guy, there's only one piece in there and that's it. So again, we're gonna stick this in. This is how this works. So if you got a lot of dirt and debris, make sure you clean it. Usually nothing gets in here. And this guy just simply goes on. Just push in on it. Got 2 little earlobes right here, one here and one there. Make sure you line those. If it doesn't fit properly, you can switch them around. Like I felt kind of weird. There you go. That's a better fitment there. There you go. And let's see. There you go. Perfect. So it's better that way. The other way, it was just taking a bit off. Anyways, that's how simple that is. And you take this little guy, you stick it on. I'm still going to be doing the starter on this, but that can get done from the bottom. And this guy is going to go right in here. Very simple and easy. I'm going to go get the nuts and bolts. Okay, so you got 1 bolt, 2 bolts, 3 bolts. We got 1 nut right here. And we got 1 on the opposite side here. Now I'm gonna go get my tool and we're gonna snug these babies real nice. There you go. Okay, using a deep socket, so I want to catch the threads first before I tighten anything. I already caught the nuts, but these bolts are next. So there you go. So what I want to do here is I want to lock up these two. I want to start from the center, okay, and I'm going to work my way out. So what I'll do is I'll tighten this first. Okay. And I'll snug that a bit. And then I'm going to snug this one a little bit. And I'm going to snug this one a little bit. So everything just goes in flush. Come inside. Okay, there you go. And a little bit here. A little bit here. I'm going to come back here. And go here. Okay, and I'm going to get this nut. Sometimes it could be that they wasn't tightened equally. If you tighten one side completely, your whole intake's gonna be off. So try to keep it in order. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna tighten this up really well. I'm gonna tighten this up really well. And this. And then I'll push it that way. 1, 2. Just double check your bolts. That's it. These are done pretty good. Bada bing, bada boom. Don't forget your dipstick. Push this baby back in. And we're going to work on the other side now. Okay, so if you get your hands on this gasket right here, do so. If anything, use a little bit of silicone. That's what I did. Anyways, these are my 2 connectors. Okay, they can sit right there. So I like to work this baby in nicely and easily. Let's get these pipes in. Okay, so we got 2 sensors on this throttle. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just push this. You can push this dipstick here for the transmission. And we're gonna get this side in. It's a lot of load. Those pipes might be bothering me on this side. Yep. Get these pipes out of the way. There you go. Much better. Don't push on this plastic piece dipstick, it will crack. So once you get that, you should be able to get that baby in. And then what we're gonna do is, remember these bolts, remember this little guy. This little guy has to be facing up. He's gonna go through that bolt here, studded bolt and studded bolt. And 2 nuts go in it. That's 1. And this one on the bottom, but I'm gonna need a deep socket. So got my bolt here, nut here, so this goes on the bottom here. So just like this spot here, there has a one on the bottom. And this guy goes in. This guy goes in, and I'm gonna snug these equally, just like we did to the other intake bolts. So this guy, remember, this guy's not gonna go in unless you push this. So once you push it in, you're gonna have to work some magic there. So make sure you get it nice and straight and even. You can even take off the 10mm in the bottom. Just don't hurt yourself. But it shouldn't be that difficult for you to just force this a bit. Thing hurts. Okay, hold on. What is it? So I cut the threads already. What I want to do is I just want to make a little bit fast. There you go. And now I'm going to do it manually. What is it? So what I want to do is I'm going to tighten this a bit, and then I'm going to come back to this little guy. Then I'm going to go to the bottom one there. It should be nice and equal flush. Compressed there. We can just lock them all up now. Just make sure they're nice and tight. And we got one over here. Bada bing, bada boom. It's all done. Make sure you put the 2 coolant pipes in, and make sure the clamps are on these. And you just take your needle nose. I'm going to show you one. Do the same thing for both of them. What you're going to do here is, you're not going to see the one that's deep in there. So you see this little guy? Put your light in there. You see that little guy? I'm going to just put the clamp on. You're going to do that to the both of the pipes. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so I'm done with the intake. Make sure you put this pipe in. Very important. Brake line. Very important. You put the clamp in. Make sure you put the clamp in. This is what gives the brake booster a vacuum assist. If you don't put that on, you're screwed. Put this baby on. So pretty much mostly it's done. And then we'll finish out the rest after I finish out my starter. Anyways, that's that. Okay, after you got everything in there, reverse procedure, put the intake on, put all the vacuum lines on, put the connectors on, put your evap cylinder on, put your battery on, fill up your antifreeze, put your radiator cap, test drive it. Everything should be good. Make sure you put this vacuum line also. This is a very important line there. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom.